Welcome to the Good Karma Sport Fishing Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Ryan Van Fleet. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So I haven't put out a podcast in a while, in about a week or so, because I've just been really busy, and not to mention, I lost my voice. Charter fishing will do that to me when I'm running consistently, especially when I'm wahoo fishing, because I'm constantly trying to educate folks and help them and learn and teach them what I'm actually doing. So it's just, and then I do give a lot of instructions, and so yeah, so I lost my voice. But I'm back at it here. Okay, so couple things. I got a couple cool announcements here before I give you guys your fishing tip for the week. And one of them's like pretty badass. I'm really, actually both of them are pretty badass. First, I have a new blog that's out, and the blog is titled "The Best Solar Lunar Fishing Secrets Revealed." Okay, and within this blog I give you the tools for creating a formula for catching fish. Yes, I give you a formula. Okay, and it's not just about solar lunar. Within the blog, I'm teaching you how to put together sunset times, sunrise times, moonrise and moonset times. Then, along with that, I teach you how to put the tides in there as well to create a formula, along with some weather and along with something that just goes along to what happened last week as far as mutton snapper fishing. And that's something I'm going to talk about here a little bit more. As you guys can see, a lot of people crushed the mutton snappers last week. And it just wasn't about a good bite. There was more to it. And that's something that I talk about in the blog as well. I reveal a secret as to why those fish turned on the way they did, okay? And once you read through it, it's all going to make sense, okay? Now, guys, what I give you in the blog is free, okay? And I almost can guarantee it that you're going to have to pay for something on another webinar site or something to get this type of information, okay? You're going to have to pay for an app or something. Guys, you don't need to do that, okay? I give you the Good Karma Sport Fishing app for free, okay? I don't collect your data. I don't charge you for anything. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to download the app, okay? And then you're going to have to use the app as a tool to help create your bite formula. You're going to be able to create 2 bite formulas and maybe 3 if you really dig into it. So I'm super stoked that I'm able to put that information out to you guys. And along with that, please go back through and read How Wahoo See Color. Now, I've added to that blog as well. I've changed some things around. I've just been really wanting to create this knowledge center for you guys for some time. So you guys have some sort of resource that you can go back to and read, and along with the podcast. So the blogs allowed me to really get in deep into like how-tos, all the little things I want to include in a podcast that I can't. Okay, so next week I have something special for you guys. I've got a list of blog items that I'm going to be writing, and every one of them is going to help you get better really quickly. Okay, now with that being said, I have one other thing to talk about here that I'm super pumped about, and that is I've just released a new course, okay? And the course I just released is the grouper bonus that was part of the Reef Fishing Strategies course. So that grouper bonus is no longer available in the Reef Strategies course. It is now being sold as a standalone course. Okay, so do you guys watch a lot of the fishing guides on Instagram? do you watch a lot of these fishing influencers on social media, catching big black groupers and mutton snappers consistently? And maybe you feel just a little envious because you're not catching them. You're in the same areas. You fish just as much, but you don't seem to catch them. Or you're not catching enough of them and they're not very big. Or you continuously continue to rock up these fish. Okay, so guys, many of them Instagrammers and YouTubers and various webinar guys are not that good. Okay, they're not that good. They just picked up a few secrets from hardcore grouper fishing guides like myself that make them look good on those videos. So Now it is time for you guys to start looking great. Not good. There's a difference, okay? There is a difference. Well, I got some good news for you guys because this grouper bonus is going to get you there, and it's going to get you there fairly quickly. You're going to catch a few big groupers, but the numbers, you're going to start seeing some impressive numbers this season. Not just in groupers, but in mutton snappers as well on the reef, okay? So I know you guys are ready to start leveling up because you're listening to this podcast. So this is a course for you guys, okay? Now, the cost right now for the course is $79.99, and that allows you to buy the course right now, and then you're going to have the whole month of April to get ready. You're going to need to put together bait. You're going to need to get your rods together. You're going to need to get your line. You're going to need to buy a little of this stuff at a time just in case it's not available, because there's a lot of shit out there that's not available. You'll have to order it, and it's on back order or something. So you're going to have to get your reel set. If you don't have the right reels, you're not going to catch these fish, okay? So you're going to have to get all that stuff ready. Now, on May 1st, the price goes up to $99.99 for this course. I got an email from one of the people that purchased a course from me, and his words were, "This is the best nuts and bolts fishing course when it comes to groupers that's available today." So I can only get in the top side of what's in the course because there's too many copycats out there that are going to copy it and bring it into their whatever else they do with it. So that's all I'm going to say about it. It's good. You're going to like it. On with today's podcast. Okay, so like I said, I talked to you guys about I'm building the knowledge center for you guys, and it's available through my website. So you go to goodkarmasportfishing.com, then you go to the blog. Now, everything's still in process. I'm redoing the website. It's taking me some time, but the blog is the priority, okay? So just go to goodkarmasportfishing.com. On the front page, you go to the blog header, click on that, and it'll pull up a list of the blogs, okay? And then read that Solar Lunar Secrets Revealed. That's going to give you your formula for what you need, okay? I give it to you. It's there. And really, honestly, there's a lot of other bullshit out there, but when you read through that, it's going to elevate you very quickly, and it's going to wake you up in your brain a little bit, okay? So when you go in there and you start reading it, one thing I want to talk to you guys about is I talk about fishing in between moons, okay? And a lot of guys you see are only fishing when it's good, and that's like full moons. And in there, I talk about the back side of the moon. Extremely important that you're planning your trips around the back sides of the moon, especially for fish like mutton snappers. They really like the back side of the moon. But what I talk about in there as well is I talk about the extended daylight hours, okay? And did you guys notice that on that last full moon that we had, that it fell around daylight, like when the daylight hours increased? We had some really nice tides. The current was beautiful. It just, a lot of things fell into place, and that's something that I teach you guys in the blog, is how to put together a bite formula. Now, one thing special that happened around that full moon period was we had what's called a photo period, okay? And it's something that I teach you guys in the blog, but I'm going to read it to you guys here. And it's something you guys need to be aware of because it's going to help you plan your trip for next year. So what we had around that full moon, those big tides and all this stuff came together, was a photo period, okay? Now, the photo period is a measure of daylight to darkness. Now, I'm reading from my blog. So this photoperiodism indicates changing ratios from light and dark, okay? Now, the most significant changes occur in the springtime, but many differences can be detected in the fall, okay? So I'm going to say it again. The most significant changes occur in the springtime. And what happened last week around the full moon, the daylight hours were really long, okay? It's not getting dark now until almost 8:30. So this all just started around that full moon, okay? Now what happens, okay? What happens? What happens to animals? Now it's just not fish. This triggers sexual responses such as reproduction and the development of eggs. So I started seeing the amberjacks right when the daylight started to increase, and that kicked them into spawning mode. And then right after that followed the mutton snappers, okay? So what happens is fish like snappers and amberjacks, for example, they notice this change with their eyes, guys, and then transmit those messages to their pituitary glands to know it's time to migrate, eat, and spawn. Spawn is a magic word, and everybody knows what spawn means, okay? Photoperiods trigger migrations of fish in the spring month, fish like blackfin tunas, okay? So what happens is in the spring, we get those really large jumbo blackfin tunas that migrate into Miami and up through Pompano Beach and Fort Lauderdale. They come in every year. They get around the wrecks. You start seeing guys crushing them. Now, sometimes those migrations start 2 weeks before the full moons in April and May, okay? And that's the trick for you guys. You just need to plan your trip. Start looking. And when you go through and you read the blog, you're going to see when you can really start getting dialed in on when to be there, okay? For certain fish species, because they're all the same, they get triggered and then they migrate and then they lay eggs and then they move on. It's just how things go, okay? So in the fall, in November, we have another major photo period, okay? So the daylight hours start getting shorter, and typically 2 weeks prior, like November, for example, typically 2 weeks prior to that full moon in November every year, the wahoo fishing in Islamorada, and especially down in Key West, is red hot. And that's the time to plan your trips, okay? You just have to look at the calendar. You have to figure out when the full moons are at, and figure out, you have to start watching just start looking outside. Oh man, it's starting to get a little darker every day. It's time to go do this, or maybe it's time to go do that. Trust your instincts, okay? That's what fishermen do. So now, if I could summon up a cold front stalled on a full moon during a photo period, you're gonna crush wahoo. And that's what happened last week. We had one of those photo periods, and then we had a full moon, and then we had a stalled out front that happened after the day after it calmed down. So there was a whole bunch of shit that went into the bite that I had. But you just really got to stay in tune to what's happening in the environment and outside. And some of the things you just notice visually. Now, every day what you can do is you can pull up the time and leading up to things and start seeing when and looking at trends as far as what time the sun sets and what time the sun rises, okay? So that's it for today, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And remember to go check out the reef course that's available at goodkarmafishingtackle.com. Basically what you do is just go to the website and then goodkarmafishingtackle.com. There's courses there. You click on it, then you'll scroll down and find the grouper fishing bonus that's in there for sale. And that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, goodkarmasportfishing_FL_keys. And you can also check out my website, goodkarmasportfishing.com. If you're looking to book a charter, I have a couple dates open in April, towards the end of April, scattered dates. And then May and June, you guys need to book ahead, okay? And that's all I got to say. Thank you guys, and remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good. or one blow up on a fish on a popper or a tuna jumping, and guys backing down on sailfish, which is, I don't understand that. My clients seem to reel them in pretty quickly. We reel the swivels to the guides because the guides are designed so they can just reel in the long leaders. We get them very quickly. So I got little kids reeling in fast these sailfish really quick. So, and I can tell you what, I'm not hand lining any sailfish or backing down with these 16-year-old kids or 12-year-old kids. So they're doing it pretty fast. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in, and I really appreciate you guys supporting the Good Common Sport Fishing podcast and also the new blog site. I just want you guys to get better. You guys are the guys that listen to this podcast are really looking to get better, and I know that. So, also too, if you're looking to book a charter with me in the future, my first couple of weeks of grouper season are full. I do have some availability towards the end of towards the middle of May during the week. Weekends are full. Also too, if you're looking to fish with me in April, I have a few scattered dates left. What we're doing right now is we're wahoo fishing, and we are mutton snapper fishing outside the reef. The patch reef fishing is really good. Don't discount the patch reefs, okay? I don't know what it is with people thinking that they can't catch big muttons on the patch reefs. You just got to put your time in. So fishing is fishing, and if you'd rather stay in your hotel when it's windy, that's up to you guys. But get out there and fish the patch reefs. It's blowing, but hell, you're still going to get to go out there, and you're probably going to catch bigger muttons than you will when that water's dirty than out in 300 feet. Not to mention, you have a really fun time catching them on really light spinning rods. That's all I got officially. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good.